The unfinished lullaby. When I moved into my new apartment, I barely noticed the old attic door at the end of the hall. It was painted shut, the wood warped with time, and my landlord had casually mentioned it was sealed years ago. "No one's been up there since the late 80s, he said, handing me the keys. Previous tenant had issues. Thought she heard voices. Landlord before me nailed it shut. I didn't think much of it. Until the first night. At exactly 3:12 a.m., I woke up to a sound. A soft, slow lullaby floating through the walls. The melody was haunting, familiar, but it never finished. It would reach a certain note, then stop. I sat up in bed listening. The apartment was silent except for the distant hum of my fridge, the occasional creak of the old building settling. Then, after a few moments, the lullaby started again. A little louder this time. I tried to tell myself it was a neighbor's music box, but the tune felt wrong somehow. Too fragile, too hollow, like it was coming from inside the walls. The next day, I asked around. None of my neighbors admitted to hearing anything. "Are you sure it wasn't outside?" the man in 3B asked. "This place lets in a lot of street noise." I nodded, but I wasn't convinced. On the third night, I woke up again at 3:12 a.m. sharp. This time, I followed the sound. I stepped barefoot into the cold hallway, heart hammering as I approached the attic door. The melody was faint but clear, slipping through the cracks. I pressed my ear against the wood. The lullaby stopped. For a moment, I thought I was imagining things, until I heard the faintest sound, scratching, slow, deliberate, like fingernails dragging across the other side of the door. I backed away. The next morning, I told my landlord. His face lost color. "No one's been up there in over 30 years. I showed him the attic door. The layers of old paint were completely intact. No sign of tampering. I didn't sleep the next night. I sat in bed, staring at the attic door, waiting. At 3:12 a.m., the lullaby began again. This time, I grabbed my phone and hit record. The melody played just as before, stopping at the same unfinished note. When I played back the recording, my stomach dropped. The lullaby was there, but beneath it, I could hear whispers, faint, broken words. "Come up, let me out." That was it. I was done. I told my landlord I was breaking my lease. On my last night in the apartment, I locked my bedroom door and tried to ignore the sound. I planned to leave at sunrise, but at 3:12 a.m., the lullaby started again. And then, a loud crack. My breath caught. The attic door had burst open. I didn't want to look. I couldn't. But something made me turn my head toward the hallway, and standing just outside my bedroom door was a child, a little girl in a tattered white dress, but her face was wrong. Her mouth was too wide. Her skin was gray and stretched too tightly over her bones. Her eyes were gone, just hollow black pits staring at me. She started humming the lullaby, but this time, she finished the song. And as the final note rang out, I felt something shift. The air grew dense, pressing in on me like a weight. My vision blurred, my limbs numb. Then, nothing. The next thing I remember is waking up in my car, miles away. I don't remember leaving. I don't remember driving. I never went back. A week later, my landlord called. "Weird question," he said slowly. "Did you open the attic?" "No," I lied. He sighed. "I checked it this morning. Still painted shut, but..." His voice trailed off. "But what?" I asked. A pause. Then, in a near whisper, "Someone scratched your name into the wood from the inside."